Hey everyone, this video is going to be a follow-up on my last Ice Mint video. Now that he's been out for a bit, he's received some balance changes and I know a bit more about him. So I'm going to cover a few different sets of rotations for him and compare them, and we're going to go over the balance changes as well, and see how he plays in practice sometimes. So to start off with, I'm going to open up the balance changes. So most of what they did is just buffing his basic attack damage a bit. You can see his rider mode all around got buffs here. In the scalings, right here in runner mode, they made him hit a few more times. I think this is about the same scaling. I didn't do the math, but he hits one additional time, which is a little, very slight buff for Mysterious Wanderer. And then right here, the charge up attacks, they made it so that his charge up attacks can happen at any point in the basic attack combo, even after the first one. And I'll go over the numbers for that as well. And then the special skill, they made it hit one additional time and have a 1% scaling buff when you are using it from rider mode. So those are the balance changes, and then we're gonna move into the spreadsheet. So here in the spreadsheet, I did some recordings and did the math on his basic attack combos, and you can see I've got all the numbers laid out. It's kind of messy because this was just initial testing. But I recorded the length in seconds that each combo took, and then I summed up the scaling and divided it by that attack length, and you can see the scaling per second for each of these. You see this is the rider combo, so when you hit 4 times in rider and then you use the combo at the end. This is for runner, it's a little bit more scaling per second, and then it goes down the list as you go further down. If I go over here, you can see these are the actual numbers. Since they didn't display them all in game, I have them written out here. The scaling for the end of the rider combo is always the same. It's going to be this 32.5, but the number of hits differs. For the 4 times the full combo, it's 13 like it says, and then the in-between ones are 10 and 8 when you hit 3 and 2 times respectively, and then we know the last one is 6. And then for the runner combo, we know these two scalings as they're listed, but there's this middle one, it's 176 for that hit. Right there. And then I also did the math for Mysterious Wanderer, and this is the scaling that it adds on when you have Mysterious Wanderer for each of those combos, and then this is the adjusted scaling per second when you add this to the full scaling that you get from each of the combos. So that about covers it for the numbers of the balance changes. What that actually means in practice is that Ice Mint is a bit easier to play now. You can get more out of his basic attack combos. Whenever you might have to interrupt them, you can use that combo ender to still be able to hit that form change when you need it. And then next I have a few recordings of rotations I did, different types of focuses on the rotations. I'm gonna talk over those, and then we're gonna go over the numbers and compare the armor sets for each one. So this first one, I'm going in with the focus of just hitting him with the basic attack combo as much as I can and immediately form changing out of it. And then I'm going to be using the skill as it goes off of cooldown as soon as I can at the end of each of the basic attack combos. So this is just kind of a general mixed set. I don't have any particular form I'm trying to stay in over the other, but my main focus is just using that combo at the end. So we're just going to go through. I'm going to do the same thing as I did last time and attack a little bit longer after the ult's up, because I'm trying to sync up the Rockstar ult here. So the next rotation I've got is going to be the same thing as before, except I'm going to use the skill only when I'm in the rider form. So I'm still going to be using the basic attack chain in the rider form, but I'm going to prioritize switching back to the runner form when possible. And that's just going to maximize hitting that combo while still also maximizing my time spent in the runner form. And we'll see later that I think this way of attacking is actually the best whenever you can. Hitting that combo gives a good amount more scaling relative to if you're just not doing that combo at all. So I think it's about to end here and we'll move on to the next one. So this one is going to be, I believe, the runner focus. Yeah. So unlike the previous two, I'm not going to be using that combo at the end of the basic attack chain unless my skill is ready. So you can see here, I do that hit and then I switch immediately back to runner form. And this is the rotation I showed in that first video. Now that I've done the math, you'll see later, I think this might actually be a bit worse. I'm not sure if it was worse before the changes, but it's definitely worse now. And like I said, you'll see the math when I move on to that later. So this one's wrapping up here, last few seconds, and we'll move on to the next one. So this one's the same as the last one, except instead of prioritizing the runner form, I'm staying in the rider form the whole time. And pretty self-explanatory, I'm just using that chainsaw and then the skill whenever the skill's up, and then switching back to rider form to smack him a lot. And then after this one, I'm going to show a video of me fighting Rimehorn 10 in the Extreme Boss Challenge, so we're going to switch over to that really quick. And this one's kind of just to give an example of how when a boss is really being aggressive on you, it actually makes it a lot harder to do his rotation. You can see there I got a full combo in, but here I had to cut it short, and you'll see most of my combos during this I have to cut it pretty short, so I'm not able to get nearly as much damage as the ideal case. See here I have to dodge and reposition a bit. I'm still taking damage despite how relatively conservative I'm being on the combo here. See here I have to dodge, can't even keep attacking because of that attack. And I'm gonna be doing this showcase, it's gonna be up until I get my third ult in, so it's about a minute and a half long. Just to give an idea of how much harder it is in practice to play this character. And this phase I am factoring into the DPS calculation, so that's a lot of lost damage there. And you'll see that. I actually do have pretty reasonable damage when I do the math, but it's definitely not anywhere near the ideal. I wasted a few seconds on my skill there. That happens when you're not paying attention, unfortunately. And you can see I'm being a little too aggressive actually. I've taken a lot of damage. Those wisps have been really wailing on me. And we're gonna finish up the rotation here with these snowballs. So we're back in the DPS sheet. I already have all of the numbers from the rotations I showed earlier translated to these sheets. So I'm not gonna show off the process of me doing that like I did last time. This one is going to be for that first rotation I showed where I just kinda used the combo and then skilled when they were both on cooldown. I have the support buffs I had last time loaded in, same Rockstar Gumball combo. We're going to be assuming we have that for each of these rotations, except the Rimehorn one, as I'll show later. So these are the numbers. I'm probably going to share the links to these in the description as well, in case anyone wants to look at them. So that's all these. You can see the numbers there. Oh, and really quick, I have the number of hits for each of these summed up at the bottom. And whenever I was doing Mysterious Wander, I just did 52, oh, not over 8, 52 over 6 right here, which averages the hits that Mysterious Wander is going to do, and then it gets the scaling right there. Now I know Mysterious Wander is discretized and this is an average, but it's close enough to how it works that when you're doing this rotation over and over again, it'll average out like that. So moving on to the next one. This is the runner priority. You can see if I switch between them, this is actually the same rotation up until we get to this part. Let me scroll over here. And you can see the hits actually changes at the last part. And I measured these independently of each other. They just completely lined up for the first bit. Oh, let me switch back here. So that's the runner priority one. If I go back one, I mean, this one's the runner priority one. And yeah, it's just this last part that changes. And then for the runner one, I accidentally scrolled through here earlier. These are the numbers on it. Pretty simple. You saw the rotation. This is just when I was not doing the combo, except when I was about to use the skill. And then rider, same thing. This is the last one, except I was in rider form instead of runner form. And then I'm gonna show the, oh wait, the Rimehorn one I skipped over. Here's the Rimehorn one. I only have these two fields and I don't have any of the buffs inputted in for these. So these are the attacks I did against Rimehorn. So I'm gonna go back to the main one and I have all the rotation comparisons here. I'll just really quick show an example of what the output looks like for one. So I went through, loaded in all the armor sets, put the numbers down, compared them, and I have the same thing as before. I have updated the sheet to have the additional field, so I multiplied everything by 1.1, just so you could actually get an idea of what the true DPS might look like. So I've got this other sheet right here, the rotation comparisons, where I have all the numbers listed out for each one. So you can see the mixed no prio one, the runner priority mixed one. These are the ones where I did the basic attack combos every time I could. And then here the runner and rider mains. I have the pure DPS numbers here, and then I have them all divided by the highest one in this part and then color coded, so you can see how they all compare to each other as a percent difference. I also have the hidden power rolls right here for each set, so this is the optimal roll set for each of these when you're running 5-star on everything. You can see the best one I got was actually Mysterious Wanderer still on the runner priority, and TBD was very close behind. So same thing as before, TBD and Mysterious Wanderer I would still both recommend, but now that I've done a bit more rotation testing, it actually seems like it's worth being in that rider form for a bit, just so you can get the full attack combo off at the end. So I wouldn't recommend doing the same rotation as before. You want to be constantly switching between your forms so you can hit that combo. It gives you a lot of damage for not as much time spent as the first 3 hits, it seems like. And then on this side, I have the Rimehorn example. So what I did here is I took the runner priority video and I just took off the Rockstar and Gumball buffs, just made it that 32-second rotation, and I put the numbers here. So this is like an ideal no support DPS that you'd get. And then I took the Rimehorn rotation and divided that by the total time it took me to do that rotation, and I put the numbers here so you can see. I'm actually gonna get the percent difference. We're gonna do it this way. Oh, whoops. Because I feel like having a percent difference that shows the increase is actually a bit more useful. So you can see on average the real practice run against Rimehorn was, I'd say, 2/3 as good as this one. So the damage in this one's 50% higher on average. You can actually see when you mess up the rotation as much as, well, not mess up the rotation, but when you're not able to get as many attacks off at the end of the combos, which are those chainsaw attacks, it actually makes TBD better. And another thing that makes TBD better comparatively is not having Rockstar present, because TBD gives that 15% attack inc boost, I believe, and one of Rockstar's main things is that he gives attack inc. So TBD actually scales really well when Rockstar isn't present compared to when he is. And it's not much of a difference because like 15% additive versus 15% multiplicative isn't that big when there are so many other buffs, but it's still there and it's something to consider. And of course, since I included that 15%, I was assuming that I was hitting Rimehorn while a tag was applied. That wasn't actually true in the video, but usually when you're running, you're going to be applying a tag even if you don't have Rockstar. So I wouldn't say this is the best comparison, but I'm going to give the numbers. If any of you are dissatisfied with that, you can mess around with it yourself as well. But this is pretty much everything for what I've done to reanalyze his rotation and consider the balance changes. I'd say try to do the runner priority set, but it's not too important, especially if you're not able to dodge. The mixed prio, and I might even test later a rider prio. It seems like you can still get pretty good damage when you're in rider form. And actually, if you're just attacking in rider form, it seemed like I did more damage than when I was mainly in runner form, when I wasn't doing those combos. So there's definitely some work still to be done in analyzing his combos, but for now I'd say try to get those end of basic chain combos in, especially if you can hit all of your basic attacks before using it. And yeah, have fun using Ice Mint. See ya.